Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, your host, and today I'm doing a classic movie. On the podcast, if you've been listening before, we usually do 3 types of movies. Current movies and classic movies plus Ugandan local movies. But today I'm doing a classic movie with a special guest.
Very funny.
Meanwhile, good luck telling the difference between our voices.
Oh yeah, by the way, for the record, this is someone totally different. It's not Shasha playing herself over and over.
I know someone can think I'm just
Exactly.
going the other side. But yeah, this is my sister, Joanna. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, hi, this is Joanna. And today I'm going to be talking about Snatch. Yes, one of my favorite movies of all time. Yes.
Frankie Four Fingers has a diamond the size of a fist.
86 carats.
Do you know something that I don't?
Jeez, it's flawless.
Where?
London.
London.
You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, Mary Poppins, London.
What do I know about diamonds? I'm a boxing promoter.
I've got a bare knuckle fight. I want to use the pie kick.
Fetch your Vasily, concentrate.
You're going to have to repeat that.
Fetch your Vasily, concentrate.
You what? What's a gun doing in your trousers? For protection. Protection from what? The Germans.
Yeah, and it's from 2000. That's old enough. It's over a decade ago.
Oh yeah.
So you've watched it enough times over and over to deem it a classic of yours.
Definitely.
And yeah, so I was actually surprised when you told me that this was one of your favorite movies.
Hey,
I really
seriously.
don't know. I even can't wait to see why this of all of them stands out for you.
Sorry.
Because we like very many movies
Together,
Yes.
first way, you're not a fan.
No, I'm a fan, but not that big a fan to call it one of my favorites of all time.
Really?
That's the difference. Anyway,
let me talk about it.
talk
first.
about it and explain why this is your favorite of
Because
all time.
one thing I know for sure, one of the best directors, should I say,
Okay.
though he's not the traditional type of director. He's not like,
First say his name.
this is Guy Ritchie. Yes, Guy Ritchie. It came in 2000. It had a great cast. It had Brad Pitt. Not the usual. I don't like the cutesy Brad Pitt. I like the Brad Pitt in that raw, weird, can I say awkward act, like performance kind of thing. We have Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Yes, when he's now being cool. Like, I don't like him, for example, in Fast and Furious.
Now
I don't like his role in Fast and Furious. Yes.
Yeah, me neither.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of Jason Statham.
But in this
actually.
movie,
he's
I
really
love-
good. I even liked him in the current movie.
Like, I
with
love the
Ritchie.
humor.
Mm.
There is this dude called Benicio del Toro. Yeah.
Yes.
That guy has the most evil look I've ever seen in my life. His stare can like you just think knives are like running at you when he looks at you.
Stare.
Yeah, but there's one like weird thing I noticed. Like, he has a very forward hairline. Like, the hairline
Really?
starts from like mid his
I've-
forehead.
I've never noticed.
You
that
look at him
all.
again, like, that thing amused me. But love him. Then, because they're notable characters, but this is the last notable one, because those were like the people who stood out to me.
Yeah.
This other person, he's called Stephen Graham.
Where's Stephen Graham? Doing?
He was the sidekick of Jason Statham.
Oh yeah.
Now, he's the other thing he's acted in that I know you have to remember was Boardwalk Empire. He played Al Capone.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god. How did I know?
Yes.
And he actually looked familiar. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, I was just looking at him and I was like, I know this dude. And I was like, wow. So that's anyway. So, but now, the plot of Snatch, basically, there are 2 storylines that end up linking with each other. Because we have guys from London and guys from, one guy from the US who are interested in this really good diamond. It's an 86 carat diamond. That's in, what's this place called? It's called Antwerp.
Yeah,
Belgium.
Antwerp.
Yes.
Yes,
I actually didn't know this, but it's like a diamond capital. It's the place where all the big rough diamonds go through. It's a town, like 80% of the diamonds pass through Antwerp.
Okay.
So they get this diamond from there, and then we have the Russians, we have the London guys, we have the American, and everyone is chasing the diamond. So there's this back and forth, back and forth. Everyone is a badass guy in his own right.
Yes.
So there's a lot of here and there. And then there is this boxing promoter.
Yeah.
Who is Jason Statham's character. He's called Turkish. And Turkish is dealing with this, like, the meanest bad guy I've ever seen.
Asshole.
The dorkiest but mean bad guy.
Super
The
asshole.
dude with the big glasses and the piggery. I'll talk about the piggery later. That thing traumatized me for life.
Me too. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so he's dealing with this guy and he's getting fighters for him, but he's fearing for his life because it keeps backfiring on him.
Okay. Okay, now let's first tell me why, in general speak, not in particular to some, just why it got you that much that it would become one of your favorites.
First of all, the directing was a type of directing I had never seen before.
Okay.
Never seen before. And meanwhile, there's this movie they say is a complete replica that he had done before. Yes, that Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Yes. And someone told me this is just a watered down version of it because the other one is very extremely British. Like, if you think this is hard to understand, then it's extreme. But before I watched that Lock, Stock and
Two Smoking Barrels.
This is going to be my favorite for now. Though I have a feeling, I will like. It will probably.
It will be like that fast cut thing. Like,
yeah, I know, like that thing which you love the first time you see it, and then the rest you're like. But yeah, that directing was totally different. But one thing I will criticize him on, obviously, is that he tries to have a moment in every scene. Yes. He tried, and when you overdo it, it becomes less surprising. It becomes a bit. It
becomes a bit much.
Yeah. Because you're like, oh, again, there's going to be something cool. Okay, like if you have these like 2-3 memorable moments, people will remember forever.
Okay, but Joanna, you can't say this about one of your favorites.
But me, I have to be fair. You see, the thing is, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Everything has something a little. You're like, they could have done different, and it would have been better like this. Yes, you get.
I see that.
Though I love his style, and I hope it catches on. Though I think it's catching on in some areas, but no one has been done it as good as Guy Ritchie before.
I know.
Yeah.
Something you haven't talked about is the characters he had, like Frankie Four Fingers.
Oh wait, yes, the names were interesting. So there's Bullet Tooth Tony. Hilarious.
Yes. The dialogue, we have to say, is really good.
It was really good.
The way people play off each other in
was so
specifically
cool.
Jason Statham's irritating voice. I would like to specifically talk about Brad Pitt because his character was an interesting character.
Very.
Mikey,
yes,
who was a pikey.
The pikeys,
and pikey is a language which you can't understand.
But then I got surprised, so I was checking online, and then they put him on a list of people who did the worst Irish accent in a movie. Like, they were talking about people who try to do accents, but then the criticism was, oh, you couldn't understand him. And I was like, but
that
he was meant
the
not to be
point.
understood. You get, because his pikeys, they were gypsies, they were weird outcasts, and then he's all, it's for me ma. Like, what? Me ma.
The guys, his ma. Another favorite part of mine was the dogs part. She's like, dogs.
You like dogs?
You like dogs?
Dog. Actually, they're saying it
like,
well.
Oh, dogs. We like dogs. I know.
Now, there is a problem with pikeys or gypsies.
What you doing, Potter? Get out the way back.
Can't really understand much of what is being said.
You tell me. Come about the caravan.
Mr. O'Neill,
Fuck, man. Tell me, Mickey.
It's not Irish. It's not English.
how are you?
Fair, the Welshman can't just for the horses, you know. Like.
It's just pikey.
Fuck me. Just look at the size of him. How big are you? Hey, kids. How big is he?
Big man, that's for sure.
Hey, man. Come on, look at the size of this fella.
Offer the man a proper drink, right?
You little fucker.
Is the big fella not coming with us?
No, he's minding the car.
What do you think we are? Thieves?
Oh, no, nothing like that, Miss O'Neill. He just likes looking after cars.
Get dogs. Do you like dogs?
Dags.
What?
Yeah, Dags.
Dogs. Do you like dogs?
Oh, dogs. Sure. I like dags. I like caravans more.
So Brad Pitt with his pikey accent was really funny for me. And I also liked his one punch thing that he had going on. I really liked it. It was actually his character was actually one of the literally the only character I cared about.
Something believable. The thing is, they put him in a ring with like a 200-pound guy, and then this scrawny guy who shoves him down. Then they do a tiger sound like, and then he's knocked him out. Like, no,
I kind of like that non-realism that they had going on. Actually, it actually worked for me.
Kind of. Yes.
You're so neutral to it, but
I know. I just said I love it so much. But that is literally me.
Another thing that Jason Statham had going on was when you'd say the Germans.
No, but Shasha, in the whole movie, that joke irritated me the most. I hated that the Germans thing.
It made me laugh.
I didn't like it.
Why?
Like the Germans are coming for you.
Why?
I didn't like. They were way cooler jokes throughout the thing. Like I can list the jokes,
but it was a comeback, something that kept recurring that actually made it amused me. Like, why does he keep
do you know
saying
one of the
Germans?
like very small? Because there was a lot of humor throughout the thing. But one of the small humorous things I liked was the twins, the scene of the twins.
Oh,
and because like first you're seeing one, yes, and it's just like, yeah, Dad, you told us. And then someone is like bending next to her, and then she stands up and is still talking like go get this guy that tooth guy, and he's like, yeah, Dad, you told us. And you're like shocked. It was very hilarious because now they look literally the same person. It was so funny.
There's actually one too many characters. Like I keep thinking we're going on and on about scenes without giving them some groundwork for someone to understand what we're talking about.
True.
But we really should give some baseline. Now, for example, let's talk about Jason Statham's boss. Talk about him, like give him a background and how he's such an asshole, and then we get into those pigs.
Okay. You remember I can describe him probably from this scene when he was talking about he meets these black guys for the first time, and he's asking them, do you know who I am? And one of them is like, I know, and this guy is panicking, and the dudes are like, who the hell is he? And then he describes to them like, do you know what a nemesis is? And then at the end, he's like, okay, he says a lot of stuff, and then he's like, and the nemesis is that person who comes for you. He's a horrible cunt, basically. And in this scenario, that's me, but that is him.
And the nemesis.
That guy was horrible. So anyway, he's the type of dude who walks into a place and you just run out, literally. But he had a lot of connections in the wrestling world who he needed to, like, probably as deals with them. Probably he's telling them, this game is going to go like this and you're going to win a lot of money. Probably so his way of paying them, you never know. Yes. And then of course he's that villain who owns a piggery that literally feeds dead bodies to a piggery. And my favorite scene of his is when he's describing how to get rid of a dead body. It's like, don't carry him whole. That's not how you get rid of a body. It's like, first of all, cut it into 6 pieces and stack them up. Then it's like, the next thing, like, you're not going to keep it in your freezer for your mom to rediscover in a month or 2.
You know, people do that in movies all the time.
Yes, like, this is stupid. And then they find it anyway, and then there's DNA, and then it's like no. It's like, you've heard of pigs. Like, beware of people who own piggeries. Because it's like, first of all, the way you do it, get rid of the teeth and shave the head. Because, you feel sorry for your pig, your man-eating pig. Then it's like, the next thing, make sure you starve them for a few days. And then when you give them the meat, you can finish one whole body in one setting if you have 16 hungry pigs.
You're always going to have problems lifting a body in one piece. Apparently the best thing to do is cut up a corpse into 6 pieces and pile it all together.
Would someone mind telling me? Who are you?
And when you've got your 6 pieces, you've got to get rid of them, because it's no good leaving it in the deep freeze for your mum to discover now, is it? Then I hear the best thing to do is feed them to pigs. You've got to starve the pigs for a few days, then the sight of a chopped up body will look like curry to a pisshead. You need at least 16 pigs to finish the job in one sitting, so be wary of any man who keeps a pig farm. They will go through a body that weighs 200 pounds in about 8 minutes. That means that a single pig can consume 2 pounds of uncooked flesh every minute. Hence the expression, as greedy as a pig.
Like someone who literally talks about this casually.
So casually.
Yes, now you understand who we are talking about.
Yeah, immediately those guys just got
like they freaked out.
They knew what they were dealing with was
Yeah.
really bad.
I know.
Now another scene that I liked was the dogs chasing the rabbit. Did you care for that scene?
Shasha. Like, I was waiting for you to ask me what my favorite scene in the whole thing was.
Yes.
And that was the dogs chasing the hare. Yeah. It was so cool.
It was one of the moments where I was actually worried for someone and something that was like, which was the rabbit.
And it
Please run.
and it outran them, and you're like, wow, it's so cool. But then, you know, at the same time, they're playing out these guys chasing that fat guy. His name was, what was his name again? I've forgotten his name. He had a very African American name. It was called Tyrone. Tyrone, yes. Tyrone is the guy who these black dudes use as their getaway plan.
Yes.
And this getaway dude is the fattest dude you've ever seen, literally. So even one of the black guys is like, it's like, I thought you said he was a getaway driver. I'm like, what the fuck can he get away from? Because he was in a leather jacket, and they tell him like, get out and like look if the parking is okay, and he takes like 15 minutes with that squeaky little like. I'm like, Jesus. It was just hilarious. But he was smart by mistake. Like when they were trying to escape from the bookie place after this chick had lined on him, and then instead of kicking the door in, they're trying to kick it out. And he's like, he comes in and just opens the door.
One
literally.
of the reasons why I thought he was smart is when he kept in the beginning when they were just going to rob, and then they kept saying, we're just going to rob a case, and then they're going to give us $10,000. And he's like, but what's in the case? How could have none of them asked themselves,
like what's in the case? But Shasha, once you know there's value, you're like, we don't care. But this shit, if someone is locking it on their hand, there's definitely something worth going for. These black guys were daft. Really daft. It was so funny.
Okay, but so many people were daft in this whole film.
They definitely.
I like how they all intertwined at the end with all their daftness. Is there any other scene that stood out for you?
There's so many. Basically, actually, it's a movie full of epic scenes. Yeah, that is the truth.
Everywhere. It's really just that. And you have to, and that's very Guy Ritchie, I would say. You really should watch the other movies. Between Lock, Stock and Thingy.
You've watched Lock, Stock and Thingy?
I've watched Lock, Stock. Haven't you watched Rock and Roll at all? Which some people... Do you know one thing I've noticed? Like you said, the first Guy Ritchie movie someone watches ends up being their favorite.
Yeah, ends up
so
being
people who have
favorite.
watched Rock and Roll say Rock and Roll is
the
my
best,
favorite
yeah.
because it's the first one that I watched.
Yeah.
Because they all have that style. His current movies are things not to scream
Shasha,
about.
there is something I wanted to tell you. You're going to laugh.
What?
So I had in April last year, 2016, there's a network that signed a deal. They're going to release a series based on this movie. Snatch, yes. And so I look at the thing, and then they're like, oh, and then this celebrity, Rupert Grint, is going to be the executive producer and is also going to star in it. And I'm like, wait, who's Rupert Grint? I don't even know.
Joanna, are you serious?
And then I
recognized
click on it.
as soon as you said the name.
And this dude in Harry Potter,
It's Ron
Weasley. I'm like, shit. Like, this is so hopeless. I'm like, why? That is definitely a no watch. Like, no one is going to watch that for sure.
Joanna, give things a chance.
No. Like, no.
Anyway, can we go on to some bad things? So now, one of the reasons why this film doesn't
Yes.
he really bombards us with characters.
Yeah.
It's not even, it's bombardment.
Yes.
What
Because
he does.
if you watch it once, you won't understand what's going on. Because they're talking about so and so and this one and that, and everyone is so intertwined. You're like, who the hell is who? Until you watch it like 3 times, then you actually understand the whole chain of events properly afterwards. Yes,
I get that, but then one of the things I like about movies, myself, what moves me with a movie is when I get a character and actually give a shit about what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Now the problem is he bombards us with so many characters that I hardly care about any of them, and even the payoff at the end is barely. There's so much energy in this film, but the payoff is minimal.
But
I don't get
what
a sigh
I
of
like.
the payoff is little.
That's why because it was so unexpected. Like they're literally at the end, Jason Statham's character is going to look for Brad Pitt's character because they were in so much shit, and Brad Pitt's character saved his life, and then they've disappeared, and he's there. And the freaking dog which swallowed the diamond just runs around. Like, that is something you didn't expect to happen.
Yes.
And that's what I like about it, you know.
And everything you describe is chance. So everything just happens by chance.
Which is cool.
Which I didn't embrace.
I like that at the end it even ends up with the guy who has stressed himself so much, Avi. Because he goes to the Jewish guy and they're like, oh, do you know anyone who would be interested, after they've taken their pet to the vet and find it has a 86-carat diamond in its tummy. And then the Jewish guy looks at them like, yeah, I know someone who'd be interested. And these are guys who have been sweating for this diamond for like the past 6 months.
Great. I get that. But just characterization was the way he introduces the character, you get eager to know about them, but you don't.
No, but that's the thing. There's a thin line, because I also don't like movies that try to take us into a history.
I don't like a history on people.
Yes.
But I just like to feel compelled about. That's why I said I like Brad Pitt. I liked his story. Were they taking us way back with him?
Oh no, but we knew like he loved his mom.
About where he would go.
Yes.
So who was the lead? Who would you see as the lead in this film?
The lead in the film was definitely Brad Pitt, I think. Because
more than Jason Statham, who was narrating the things.
Yes, he was narrating. He was in a lot of trouble, but he was also on one side of the story. You understand? And we also don't know, aside from we went to his house like once. They showed us that scene in his house like once, but the only person they actually showed his surrounding and life about was Brad Pitt, and he was the one whose moves were going to influence what was happening. Basically, you understand?
True.
Everything he did.
Then maybe that was a good thing that I actually cared about the lead.
Yes.
If in your narrative, the way you saw it, then he's the lead. Most people look at Jason Statham
as the lead. Yeah, because he's the narrator and all that. But sometimes you get surprised. Anyway, so the thing I wanted to talk about also is that audiences resonated with this movie a lot. If you look at, for example, what's that? Rotten Tomatoes. 93% was the score that the audiences gave it, as opposed to the critics who gave it only 73%.
But that's still not bad.
That's not bad, but when there's a huge gap, I think there's a problem usually. And if you notice, most of the critics like to have like a lopsided opinion about certain actors, certain directors, because they even looked at that Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. They also gave it low ratings, about 76%.
Really?
Yes. And yet these are classics, things that have cult following. So you wonder why sometimes.
But don't you like being part of the cult?
I love being part of the cult.
Yeah, yes. So screw critics.
Yeah, screw critics, yeah. Yeah, they hate certain types of people. They hate change.
But anyway, this has been Cinema Red Pill. You just thanks for listening. I've been here with
Joanna.
Yes, my sister. I don't think our accents are that much the same, by the way.
No, but you first wait while you're editing. You will tell me about this.
I said I've been listening. I will differ a bit. Anyway, if you have any feedback, please email me at Sharon at Cinema Red Pill. Yeah, thanks for listening.